Hello, everybody. My name is Marsh, and welcome to my review of the fifth episode of the House of the Dragon TV series. Let's jump into it. So, leave it up to Game of Thrones to always have the most exciting weddings of any TV show, am I right? So, we're going to jump into the episode review. I'm going to give you my pros, my cons. If you haven't seen the episode just yet, this is your chance to log off or no spoilers. If you want to avoid that, go watch the episode and come back in. But let's go ahead and start right away with a pro. So my first pro on the episode is just the overall political maneuvering that occurred in the episode. For example, we start with Alicent, who is meeting with the Hand of the King's son, we find out. I forgot his name, but he's the one with the cane. And he's walking around, he's trying to convince him. Obviously, he's like that political maneuvering type, like Littlefinger type of character they're trying to bring into the show, because he can't really do anything physically like intimidating, and so he has to do that political maneuvering. And so he kind of holds it over Alicent, and he's like, yeah, we know that the maester brought tea into Rhaenyra's room, and so there's something going on there. Why was he bringing tea? Is she ill? He's like saying we know, basically, and getting after her that way. So we'll see what happens with that and the two of them. There's other political maneuvering that happens as well. You get the very beginning with the wedding between Laena, and Rhaenyra. Prince Laenar, I'll say, for now. We'll see. I'll probably correct it if I need to. But we have that obvious marriage between the Valerians and the Targaryens. And we learn that Laenar is actually, he's gay. And so he's not attracted to Rhaenyra in any way. So they make like a compromise. And with that compromise, she says, you can do whatever you like. I'll do whatever I like. And we'll come together when we have to in public as a marriage, and we'll be happy together. This way there's no arguments between us, and we can work together that way. So they do make a compromise, which later comes into play in the episode itself. Some other political maneuvering, we see that Daemon kills his wife in the Vale. Makes it look like a horse accident where he trips her. It's a little weird. We didn't know what he was doing at first. He wasn't really saying anything. He was just like staring at her maniacally. And so that was a little funny with the way that they did that. But he kills her, and now he's eligible for her inheritance and the Vale itself. So, like everything else, we'll see what happens with that. Another thing to note as well, this is actually the first episode where we didn't have a major time skip. All the other ones had major time skips. This one's maybe like a few weeks at most. It's not months and months like the other episodes. So we actually get to build off what was built last episode, and we don't have a gap where we're having to fill in our memories and try to remember what happened between this to that. And so that's good. It helps build the continuity between the two episodes and the show itself, and build these circumstances that are happening. In terms of my cons for the episode right now, I just watched it, so it's hard to think on it, but let me see if I could figure any out, to be honest, because if there are any, it would be very slim and just nitpicks in general. I don't think I really have any cons for this episode. This is actually the best episode so far. If I had to say a con, it'd probably be the way that Criston reacted to everything, but it's not necessarily out of the ordinary or unrealistic the way he reacted. I think the biggest thing is him going to Alicent is going to cause huge issues in the future because he confessed that it was him. So we'll see what happens with that. And the thing with Alicent is, I think she believed, or if I remember properly, Rhaenyra swore that she didn't do anything with Daemon. She didn't technically swear she didn't do anything with anyone else. And so she was sullied in a way, or the way they look at it, but it wasn't with Daemon like she told Alicent. It was with Sir Criston, which she wasn't expecting. She was hoping Sir Criston would confess to her being with Daemon, and then he came out of left field and confessed himself, because he was assuming, because the way she was phrasing it, she didn't want to make accusations and slanders, because those can be quite serious in these times. And so it was very good the way that they played it there, and then he confessed, and it was all set up with the previous scene with Rhaenyra and Criston. That's another pro. That was one of the best scenes in the show. The scene where Rhaenyra is speaking with Criston in the morning time, and Criston confesses his love. He says, I want to run away with you. I want to be with you. We can go live together on the sea, do whatever we want, be free from ourselves, our titles, anything like that, and we can just be in love with each other. And she turns him down, basically. She says, oh, we can still be together, like, romantically and everything. We just can't have it be public or anything. And it's fine, because Laenor has his own methods and things that he does with certain people, and I have my own, so we have a compromise. And basically he's like, I don't want to be a hoe. I don't want to be a hoe, so no, I can't do that. And he breaks up with her in a way, and he's dealing with that, and that's part of the reason why he confesses to Alicent, I believe, is because he's feeling that guilt. He doesn't feel the guilt initially because he feels like he can be with Rhaenyra, and it might be for a purpose that way, but now he feels like it was no purpose, and he ruined his own vow of chastity in the Kingsguard because he was with Rhaenyra, and so he loses that sense of purpose that he had because he broke it. So it was sullied before, but now it's even worse because he thought there was a chance at love, basically, and where there really ever wasn't. And then that whole event leads to some of the big events in the episode. Everyone knows Game of Thrones and weddings can never end happily, no matter what. We'll talk about that in a second. I first want to mention who was getting married. So Rhaenyra and Laenor. One interesting thing was when they were proposing the wedding or the marriage, the king went to the Valyrian lord, and they basically made a deal. When the children are born, they'll be Valyrians, but when they take the throne, they'll be Targaryens. And so that was their compromise. He felt like he pushed it a bit, and the whole time the king is coughing, and you can tell that he's sick in some way. And we know he's sick. He's been growing and growing. But then we see later in the episode, when he does return on the ship before the wedding, his arm is like covered and his cough is growing. And you can tell he's going to die soon because of everything that's going on with him. And that's why he's trying to set this thing up. And I don't know if it's grayscale. I doubt it's grayscale. But I wonder if his cousin has it as well, the one that's married to the Valyrian lord. Because she also had a glove on her hand, and she looked at him like she knew what was going on. So I don't know if it's a disease that runs in their family or something else, because it seemed as though they both knew what was going on there. Anyways, though, going forward to the wedding, the whole time with the wedding, with the history of Game of Thrones and how they handle these things, there's just a sense of tension building the whole time. You see the looks from Criston to the Prince of Kisses, I don't remember his name, to Rhaenyra. Everyone is like staring at each other during the dance, and they're just building all this tension. And then especially one of the big moments was when the queen wasn't there, and right in the middle of the speech introducing everyone, she comes in, and then you see the Hightowers. They say she's wearing green, and you know what color the Hightowers fly in their tower when they're going to a time of war? Green. So it's like it's a very strong political move that she's making out there in the public without saying anything, actually, by wearing green, interrupting his speech, coming late, and showing that presence. And so she obviously is planning something in the background because she feels betrayed by not only Rhaenyra, but by the king and the trust in the king. And she has to make the decision between Aegon. Does she want to ruin everything and destroy Rhaenyra and Laenor and not let them become the heir? Or does she want to let them become the heir and beg for Aegon's life? Because if Aegon is still living, they might try to kill him one day so that there's no question of who is the king and queen. So that might actually be the political civil war that we're moving towards. Originally in the show, since I haven't read the books, I know there's civil war, but I don't know between who. It's House of the Dragons, obviously, but is it between the Hightowers and Daemon teaming up versus the Targaryens and Baratheons? Originally, I thought it was just Targaryens versus Targaryens with Daemon and Viserys. So we'll see if it's something with Alicent. I feel like Alicent may make a decision to try to ruin Rhaenyra and Laenor's authority to the throne, essentially. Eventually, though, the wedding keeps going on. They keep dancing, and then the Prince of Kisses goes up to Criston, and he says, I know your secret. You're the lover of the princess. And he says he's the lover of the king consort, Laenor, and all of that, and they're going together and making a compromise, and it's good to know each other's secrets and everything in this situation. And then something happens while on the dance floor that we don't really know exactly what happened. We see Daemon approach Rhaenyra, and he's trying to win her over. He says, you should be marrying me, blah, 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 blah. And then he grabs her like he's going to kiss her or something. And then it blocks the view while the king's staring at this furious, and then a fight erupts. And we see Criston murder and abuse the Prince of Kisses. Or was it Lord of Kisses? I don't know. He's not important and he's dead now. But he kills him. Daemon disappears. We don't even know where Daemon went the whole time, and everything stops. It cuts to Sir Criston getting up, leaving, and then they go to the wedding ceremony where they're both crying. You notice Rhaenyra tried to kiss Laenor during the ceremony, and he turned his cheek. Obviously he's gay, so he doesn't want to be kissed by her, but I don't wonder if it's also out of grief for his lover that died. But during that, it's also cutting back and forth to a scene with Sir Criston trying to commit suicide in the garden near the wood, the white wood. I forgot the name of it, but he's trying to commit suicide, and it combines in this moment where after they get married, the king collapses because he was coughing blood during the wedding as well. So his sickness is catching up to him and he collapses. We don't know if he's dead yet. If he is, they just got married, and so she's technically heir immediately. If that's the case, I don't know if there has to be a coronation or what's going on with that, but obviously it's serious to the point where his sickness is now. And then it cuts over to Alicent stopping Criston from committing suicide. So that leads me to believe that Alicent is going to use Criston to reveal what happened with Rhaenyra and try to destroy their marriage so that Aegon can become the heir. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't read the books, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, overall, a lot of very, 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 very many pros. Not really any major cons, just small nitpicks if I could even point them out. Nothing really stood out to me as a problem or an issue with the episode at all. And this is the best episode so far. I would say it's at least a 9 out of 10, especially in the Game of Thrones standard things. I wouldn't say it's a 10 out of 10. It's not perfect per se. You know a perfect episode if you see it. It's not that. But Game of Thrones and weddings always go good together, so it's easy 9 out of 10. Let me know what you thought about the episode, though. What do you think is going to happen going forward if you haven't read the books? If you have, feel free to correct some stuff, but don't spoil anyone in the comments or me on it. But yeah, I hope you liked the video. I'll see you guys next week for episode 6. Thank you for watching, and if you can like and subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.